Hey, Shaggy here for Classic Rock 94.9 and 104.5. On the phone with me, I have none other than Jerry Dixon, the bassist and original member of Warrant. Hey, Jerry, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing, buddy?
Not bad at all. First off, I just want to say thanks for doing this interview. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us on and helping us promote the rock show.
Oh, of course. You know, when I was growing up, my dad would play Warrant in the car and stuff, and so, you know, it's pretty cool. I followed you guys for a long time, and, you know, it's just kind of surreal to have Jerry Dixon on the line with me. Super cool, man.
Right on, man. We're like brothers from another mother.
Oh, I know, right? The Idaho Rockfest is coming up, and everyone is so psyched about this. A crazy bill on the lineup. How did you guys get involved in this?
You know what? We basically got added on, I think only about a couple weeks ago. They were trying to get a lot of bands that were playing, kind of a weird thing, but there's another show in Ohio the next night. So it's like that we're playing with Dee Snider and all these Dokken, and anyway, so it was going to be kind of a stretch to get from Idaho Falls to Ohio day of show. So I guess we were one of the bands that are nuts and agreed to roll the dice and try and make the trek, you know.
Have you been to Idaho Falls before?
Yeah, we were there, I want to say about 3 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
3.5, 4 years ago.
See, I moved here about 2, so that would explain why I wasn't at the show.
Ah, okay. Yeah, we played somewhere, I believe it was kind of by a lake, where like a bunch of people fishing, and then there was the amphitheater.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's all I remember.
At the Port Enough Health Trust, I'm guessing, or on Snake River.
Yeah, I was like, where's my fishing pole?
Exactly, right. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
And I saw you guys, I want to say 2014. It was like 2 days before Christmas. You were playing with Great White and Black and Blue.
Oh, yes. I remember that. Yeah, because we played with our old singer, The Saint.
Yeah. Up
in his hometown. Yeah, that's cool. That was a cool show.
That's right. Yeah, that was a killer show. So you guys did a good job on that. It was fun. Have you had a pretty good response from the Eastern Idaho area whenever you guys have come out?
Yeah, we do. We do. You know, it seems like you guys don't do a ton of shows up there, but when you do them, you go big. You know, so it's usually a good time and good crowds. So yeah, we dig it. It's nice up there too.
Yeah, for sure. It really is. I mean, you've been to Idaho Falls before. We're not the biggest town in the world, but, you know, we love our classic rock, and a show like this coming is just like a game changer. I mean, people are going nuts over this.
Yeah, well, it's awesome, man. You know, a lot of us are just old school rock and rollers, man, you know?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's just, so we're just trying to keep the dream alive, man.
Exactly, that's where it's at. I mean, today I was just walking in the grocery store, and some guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, man, you Shaggy?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hook me up with Rockfest tickets, dude." So people are going crazy, and they're super psyched for you guys to come.
Oh, that's funny. You're like, "Yeah, no problem, man. I'll put you on the list."
I mean, you are one of the original members of Warrant.
Yeah, I've been in Warrant since I was 16 years old, and I think this is, you do the math, 34 years. Oh.
It's been a ride, I bet.
Yeah, it's been a lot of hell and a lot of good times.
As one of the original members of Warrant, a lot of people will say something like, "Oh, you know, he's the bass player. Bass players aren't important." I have seen your work, and I know that Warrant is not the case in that at all. So what do you have to say to people like that think, "Oh, you're just a bass player"? It's stupid.
Well, you know, I always say take the bass out of the mix and see if you enjoy music.
Yeah.
It would just, you know, but, you know, being in I mean, whatever. Being in a band is so much more than, you know, what your instrument is, you know. It's a lot more in depth than that. You know, it's just making shit happen, making the right moves, and, you know, being persistent and taking care of promoters and record labels. You know, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. You know, the shows. We always say that the shows are like the easy part. You know, that's the payoff. But yeah, you know, to each their own, man. But like I said, pull the bass out of the mix and see if you like it.
That's the thing, man. Bass brings it all together, and you gotta love it. I mean, a good bass player in a band is a game changer. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
And so, I mean, I'm a musician myself. I play a little bit of bass. I mean, obviously not to your level, and I do a little guitar too. I always like to ask musicians, what is your setup nowadays, and how has that changed from when Warrant first started out?
Basically, nowadays, the biggest change is everything is just small. All the, your rig, and you used to, in the old days, you had two, giant Ampeg heads and 4, 8, 10 cabinets. You had like 1,500 pounds worth of gear, Now everything is you could fit your rig, like your Sands amp. I use a Sands amp, fly rig, and Sands amp, DI, and all that stuff, and you could put it in your backpack.
Yeah.
And I use Galen Kruger heads, the newer ones. They're tube heads, but they're the size of like a notebook. It's insane. And I only turn it up like to 3. And it's just, it's shaking your what.
Oh, yeah, dude, I know exactly how it is. Me and my wife, we just live in a little apartment right now, but I have this orange tube amp head, and I'll turn that thing up to like a little bit below 1, and that thing will shake the walls, and I have a lot of pissed off neighbors.
I know. It's like, I almost didn't want to believe it, The guy's like, just close your eyes and plug the head in, and see what you think. And I was like, there's no way you can play an arena with this thing. I plugged it in, and I was like, holy crap, wow, that is insane.
Now, what is the main bass that you're using nowadays?
I use GMP. They're out of San Dimas, California, and they're handmade by Dan Lawrence, who's pretty famous graphic artist. He does all the killer paint jobs, and he ended up buying GMP guitars. And so I use those, and I do a lot of work on my own stuff. I like to add. I use like Aguilar pickups and hip shot tuner, tune keys, and bridges, and KMS bridges, and I like to add like some old school Bumblebee capacitors.
Oh, yeah.
Different pickups, stuff like that. So I kind of noodle around with the building of some of my stuff.
I love it. And so you're very custom with your stuff.
Yeah. I just recently got into doing that. You know? It's mainly out of just like I record a lot, and my equipment gets beat up, my guitars get beat up, and it was like, God, I don't even know how to fix these things. So I just dove in and started learning how to, fix guitars and straighten necks and redo frets and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting. It's a lot more to a bass and a guitar than it looks like.
Well, that's the thing. The master needs to know his instrument.
Yeah. I feel kind of like an idiot. Like the master didn't know all this a long time ago, but I guess better late than never.
The master knows now, and that's all that really counts.
Yeah. You get the concept,
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, back to the Idaho Rockfest. There is, like I said, a killer lineup. I mean, other than you guys, we got Rat, Vince Neil, Sebastian Bach, Dawkin, Great White, Lynch Mob, and Roxy Blue. I mean, Warrant has been around forever, and I'm sure you've played with almost all of these guys before.
Yeah. Actually, all the bands, yeah. Even Roxy Blue. We actually used to work with Roxy Blue back when they got their record deal.
Wow,
so,
that's
that'll
amazing.
Be cool to see them. Yeah, I think they just got back together.
They've been kind of on hiatus for a little bit, and as far as I know, this is the first show they've done in I don't know how long.
Yeah, I think they must have just got back together. So that'll be cool to see Todd and the boys rocking again.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to Ron, who was the guy who put on this Rockfest, and he said that Roxy Blue kind of contacted him and said that they want to get back in the game, and this is the thing to make it happen.
It sounds like Roxy Blue, man. See,
oh, yeah.
There you go. You got to make it happen.
Definitely. So a question I always like to ask, people I interview, I mean, even out of this whole lineup, is there someone you're especially, psyched to share the stage with again?
You know what? It's kind of a weird thing when you play with bands as opposed to like going out and, you know, being in the crowd and just going to see a concert. You really, you don't really get a chance. I know it sounds stupid, but you're so, you know, it's kind of like your work day. You got to get there, you got to do your interviews, you got to do promoter meet and greets, and you got to do your meet and greets, and then you got to sound check, and then you got to get ready, and then you got to play, and then usually you have to get up at, you know, 3 or 4 in the morning and haul ass and fly somewhere else. So it's kind of a whirlwind, you know. You might be just doing your thing, and there's somebody on stage, and you're like, oh man, I should go watch him, but I can't, you know. But you know, but I've had a chance to go out front and see all the bands, so I think it's you know, it's a hell of a day for rock and roll, I think.
Most definitely. Now, in all of your touring career in Warrant, is there any bands that you guys have toured with, just played one-off shows with, that you absolutely would never do a show with again, or you didn't enjoy your experience with them?
You know what? No. You know, we've never been a band that is like that. You know, a lot of bands are real particular who they play with, and when everybody goes on, and who headlines, and you know, to us, we always use the common sense approach. You know, we may not like every band's, you know, headlining strategy and how they run the backstage, but you know, if that's the way they do it, that's the way they do it. You know, not worth, you know, blowing up relationships and stuff like that. So I would definitely say absolutely not. We're an equal opportunity rock and roll band, and we will, you know, as long as it makes sense for us, and we get a chance to get on stage and do our own thing, then that's all it's about.
And that's the attitude to have. I was actually talking to Brian Bassett of Foghat a few weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
And he gave me pretty much the same answer. You know, I like to, you know, see if there's any beef in between bands. You know, it's just kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got your little quirks and differences and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, you wonder why some bands are bigger than you, and then you wonder why some bands are opening for you sometimes, you know. Like, I'll never forget playing with Blue Murder, and they opened for us, and you know, I told Tony Franklin, the bass player, I go, I apologize. So I don't know why I go, that's not fair, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this guy's just an animal, you know? You got John Sykes, and they're opening for Warrant. I said, dude, I'm sorry. This is just wrong. So, you know, it cuts both ways.
But, you know, it comes down to, like you said, at the end of the day, we're just one big rock and roll family, and, you know, you got to respect what the others are doing.
Yeah, totally, man. That's, you know, I hate people and artists that get all weird about that and think, you know, their shit doesn't stink and that kind of stuff. It, you know, music is in the ear of the beholder, you know. It's different for everybody, you know. Every band's got their thing, or they probably wouldn't be there, you know?
I have to say, I read an article about you not too long ago, and I found out, this is pretty cool, I thought, that you and your wife actually have rescued a few parrots.
Oh, we did, yeah. It was one of those things. We got a parrot, and then someone, you know, knew we had the parrot and said, hey, I know of another parrot that needs to be rescued, you know, would you guys mind? And then the third parrot came up, and would you guys mind rescuing this one and the fourth one? So we're up to we have 5 parrots.
Wow.
Yeah, they're a handful. They're a trippy. They're so smart.
Yeah.
That it's not like a pet, like a cat that you can just feed it and walk away. You know, like, no, they're like, we need to hang out, have some one-on-one time where I'm going to scream all day.
When I was growing up in Portland, Oregon, there was this pet shop, one of the malls, and all the kids would go through and teach the parrots how to say the F-bomb and all sorts of stuff. So every time you'd walk by, then this parrot would be like, hey, F you. And you're like, what? You know, you want to fight, parrot?
Yeah, you have to watch it. Because they'll, one of the birds we got belonged to an old Asian lady, and he would, like, at night, the bird would be like, oh, you have to go good night now. You go good night. And then the bird would burp, and then the bird had a really bad smoker's cough.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so it was like mimicking this old Asian lady, and it was a trip. You know, the bird would fart and all this stuff. I guess the lady did that, you know?
That's so funny.
It's like, oh, shit.
You gotta love it, man. Like you said, they're smart animals. They really are.
They are, yeah. We actually, funny, quick stories, we moved from L.A. to Vegas, and we had all the parrots in the living room in L.A., and we were trying to sell our house. And every time someone would come to look at the house, they'd walk in, and that bird would start doing the smoker's cough. It would burp. It would fart. It would, you know, it was like, you know, we didn't teach it that, I swear, you know. we're semi-normal people. We're semi-normal people. I swear we didn't do that.
I promise I don't fart in the house all the time.
Yeah. Like, oh, here's a house. Yeah, we're going to shit all over the place. Sorry.
Exactly. You gotta love it, man. And so, I mean, if more people came up to you and they're like, hey, do you want to rescue this parrot? Would you be open to, I mean, having 15, 20 parrots?
No. You know what? I think the more we learn, maybe it would depend on the parrot, because certain breeds, like we have 3 cockatoos that are very difficult. They're like 5-year-old children. They yell, scream, and then we have 2 African grays, who are the ones that talk really well and are kind of low maintenance, you know. So we could probably take a couple more of those, but the cockatoos, probably not.
I would agree with you on that one. I mean, 5 parrots is probably pushing it a little bit, too.
Yeah, I told my wife last night, I'm like, oh, what did we get ourselves into? Because one of them cries like a baby. It's like, ah, ah. I'm like, what could you possibly need, you know? I just said, what did we get ourselves into? What, you know, our life became these guys.
That's super cool, you know, that you guys do that. I mean, I know some people rescue dogs and cats and whatnot, but I mean, parrots, you know, dogs, whatever, it's all the same thing as long as you're giving back to the animals. I think that's sweet.
It's cool. It's been fun.
Once again, I mean, thank you so much for talking to me and reaching out to us. I really appreciate
it. I appreciate your time, and we'll see you at the Rockfest, man.
All right, sounds good. We will catch you on August 24th, all right?
All right, Shag. Thank you, buddy.
All right, man. You have a good one. That was Jerry Dixon, everybody, bassist and original member of Warrant for Classic Rock 94.9 and 104.5.